You know, every great looking vehicle starts with really cool wheels, and this is one cool truck, and these are some great looking wheels. We've got this truck, some UTVs, and a whole lot more coming up on Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat. Welcome to another episode of Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. Now, this is the series where we showcase all kinds of aftermarket gear for your vehicle, whether it be a car or a truck or a UTV like this one. Now, this is a bone stock Polaris General, and they all start this way, and invariably once you get one of these, you want to make it look like this over here. You start adding piece by piece, and the best place to go for those pieces, well, that's 304 Offroad. Aaron, you are in charge of all this and everything you can get UTV. Tell me about your website.
So basically, if you have a side-by-side UTV, you can go on looking for parts, accessories, windshields, tires, bumpers, anything you name, we can get it.
What are the criteria for products that we might find on your site?
We look for quality, especially the reputation, make sure it's a good company.
Tell me about some of the stuff you have there on the table. I see a bumper and a grill you have there.
Yeah, so that's from Rogue Off-Road. The bumper is actually a small winch bumper on the front. It's not a big brush guard like it's on ours. Everybody has a different taste, different needs, so we like to carry a variety of products.
Lights are a big thing when it comes to UTVs. You start riding at dusk, riding at dark, and you guys can help us there, right?
Oh yeah, this is actually outfitted with rough country LED bars on the top and the cubes on the front, and it puts out a good bit of lumens you can see at nighttime.
And it's not just accessories. I see you even have axles that you sell. You can beef up your UTV.
Oh yeah, the stock axles, especially like we have 35-inch tires on this, you'll want to upgrade to a bigger axle so it can take the beating on the trails.
We're not just talking cosmetic upgrades then. You guys, you mean business when it comes to UTV parts.
Yeah, we get performance mods as well. You want a bigger turbo for your Razor, we can get that. We can get tunes, clutch kits, all that.
And you see you have a side mirror. The mirrors are something you want to add later. That's crucial when you're backing out of a tight spot, right?
Yeah, definitely, especially if you have a wider machine like ours, or if you have a full windshield that we're going to be doing on this General right here. We have the seismic mirrors right here. They actually have a lifetime warranty, so if you break it, they replace it, no question asked.
Well, let's get started.
Let's go.
304 Off-Road, you can get as complicated as you want. You can do exhaust systems and tunes. We're going to keep it a little more simple today. So we're going to do mirrors and the windshield, and we're going to start with the mirrors. To do those, it's a little better to take the windshield off so we can get to those bolts we need to do that. So we're going to remove the windshield. Super easy with this stock windshield, just 4 clips, take that off. This is your chance to clean underneath with all the dirt and everything that's gotten in there from the trails. It's a good moment to make sure you get everything looking good and get all the debris out of there, which will keep everything from rattling around. To get the mirrors off, just remove 2 nuts on each side of the A-pillar. A little bit tricky here because those nuts can fall inside the cage, so you want to be sure you don't let that happen or you're going to be in for a lot more work. We're going to install the new mirrors, so you install the plastic bushing first and tighten the bolts down. Repeat it on the other side. Be sure to torque it to spec. You want to check your owner's manual to see what the torque specs are. These mirrors come to us from Seismic, and there's a lifetime warranty on that, which I really dig because you're out on the trails. The mirrors seem to be the first thing to go whenever I'm out there. I take those right off with the trees there. Now, how about the windshield? Who makes that?
That is Moto Armor, and they're out of Utah.
I love that both of these things are made in the USA. This kit comes with a windshield wiper, but the owner decided not to install that, so we'll just do the windshield itself. First step is we're going to lay it on a table, lay out our trim pieces, and cut them to size. Go across the top first, then you can gauge the size you need on the corners. Just a pair of scissors to snip those off. That is easy enough. And take a look at this. This is a neat feature we can show you probably best before we put the windshield on. There's actually a really cool feature here, ventilation. That's something you don't get in a stock windshield. How important is that when you're on the trails?
Right, especially when you're going down a trail and you're out in the heat and the dust. If you want to get a little bit of air in the cab, you can open up the vents and get air on the passenger or driver's side.
I love it. That makes this thing super cool. Now there's 4 brackets, 2 on each side. I'd say this is the trickiest part, but it's really not that tricky. You just have to make sure the holes are lined up. Having a buddy here helps because you can move the windshield back and forth, make sure the spacing is okay, and then you start to drive them in. You start on the bottom one, and the final step is the top bolt. We already had these finger tight, so just finish running these in and get them down. Not too tight. We don't want to crack anything. And we will be good to hit the trail so we can rip it now. And this thing looks great. It's going to give you lots of protection, give you lots of ventilation, which I really dig. And there's one other great feature about this particular windshield that I like.
Yeah, it's DOT approved, so when you're ready to get your UTV legal on the street, your windshield's ready to go.
Got it. Well, you can get a windshield, great looking mirrors, or anything you see over on that other vehicle, and even more if you check them out at 304offroad.com. Everything you need for your UTV. We will be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977. AP Laser, leading the way. And by Top Coat, make life easier.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. You know, if you've got a great looking truck like this one from Rice Diesel, you're going to want some fabulous wheels, and fabulous wheels is what AAR Forged does. Tom, tell me about your designs. Tell me what you do at AAR Forged.
So we start with 6061 forged aluminum blanks. This is how they come in.
Okay.
Raw, no holes, billet blanks. What we do is we put them up on the mill, start custom cutting the design to the customer spec. We've got plenty of designs to choose from, over 30. If you've got an idea and you need to put it in a wheel, we have you covered.
So it starts like that, and this is one of your designs here.
Yep, this is our 28-inch dually wheel. So it comes in, gets the design cut in it, the tree pan put around the edge, custom engraved with our logo on this one. We can put different logos in the wheel for one-off pieces as well.
Or what if I don't want a logo at all?
Smooth lip is absolutely perfectly fine. We can do a smooth lip, and it's great. Looks super clean, a little bit easier to maintain.
And this one's a little skinnier than your truck tire. Obviously, we're looking at a motorcycle wheel here. Yeah, tell me what you've done with that.
So we can get the motorcycle blanks in, put them up on the mill, custom cut design to spec. A couple years ago, Chicago International Motorcycle Show, we ended up taking home Best Chopper with one of our real great customers. Ended up Wounded Warrior Project, 5 different branches of the military at that point in time, cut 5 different spokes, pressed each individual coin into the wheel, and it represented all the veterans perfectly, everybody that's served, and everybody that walks past it that's got a motorcycle, especially the veterans, they've got to have it, whether it hangs up on their wall or they daily drive it.
Fantastic. I love the story about this next one. It started out kind of on a lark and it ended up as a really popular item.
Yep, it was just a joke. We did it up as a mock-up wheel for this truck here, 26 by 16. We didn't know exactly what design to cut in at that point, but we wanted to test and see if we could even fit it up underneath this truck. So we did it, snapped a couple pictures. People wanted to kind of see it to begin with because they've seen it in like 17 by 10, 16 by 10 on the pull-in trucks and other miscellaneous old school trucks floating around, but they've never seen it in a 26 and larger wheel. So we figured, show it off. It went viral almost overnight on complete accident. And we just ran with it, ran it for the show season, what little bit we had this year, and everybody loves it. It's a great attention getter going down the road, great attention getter at the shows.
Sometimes you just want to keep it simple, but if you want to do a little more elaborate, then you can move on to a design like this.
Absolutely. Plenty of different custom cuts available. This is a direct bolt with the Phantom 10, so you can run no semi-adapter. It's becoming a big growing trend because you get rid of the unsprung weight with the adapter, a little bit easier to get rolling down the road. And basically what we do is we put the bolt pattern in the wheel hub bore and then put the studs in from the backside. So you can still run that Phantom 10 lug cover cap, get rid of the adapter, semi 10 lug look, none of the weight.
Yeah, and unsprung weight is the enemy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, decrease your fuel mileage, can damage equipment down the road.
Absolutely, it's the way of the future.
Perfect. Now, if I'm not a chrome guy, I don't like that look, what can you do for me?
We can offer different powder coat. They start out, get cut, sandblasted. We can powder coat any custom wild crazy color. The gloss black and satin black is a big trend. We can come back in, remachine the windows so you get black and machined. Everybody loves it. Super easy maintenance for years to come. It's a great long lasting look.
And you talked about the direct bolt. If you don't want to get the new wheels and you need some other options, you have an adapter that's going to help us out.
Yep, absolutely. So the semi 10 lug, it goes from your stock bolt pattern out to the semi 10 lug. That allows you to swap wheels over truck to truck relatively easily by just changing the adapter plates. So if you buy and sell trade trucks all the time, it's a great, easy look. I personally run the adapter plates. I love it. It's a little bit of an outdated technology at this point with the direct bolts, but it's still out there, and I sell a lot of them.
It's a great cost-effective way to make that change.
Absolutely.
Very cool. And then you've got the hub cover here.
Yep, billet cap. This is for our single wheel lineup here. It's featured on that 26 by 16 over there that we'll get to in a little bit. But you know, the plastic caps over time, they do melt, and you got to replace them or else it looks hideous. Billet caps, we offer billet spikes as well. They're not here today, unfortunately, but it prevents it from melting down.
You're talking labor saving
Absolutely.
products, this is a good one if you're looking to lower your truck.
Tuck Series 22, you can run your stock steel inner. You can run a aluminum 22 by 8¼ inner as well if you wanted to keep 22 on 22. Tuck Series goes inside the stock fender. You don't have to cut your axle and narrow it, mini tub, none of that. Goes right up underneath the truck, slam it on the ground, look cool doing it. Saves time, money, labor, sourcing different axles. No need for that. Call me.
That sums it up. You've also brought the 26 you talked about, one of your newer designs, and really your bread and butter down there is polishing.
Started out as semi-wheel polishing, then we got over 300 used wheels in stock for semis, over-the-road guys, directional Freightliners, Kenworth, Peterbilt, all the different Signature Series wheels in stock. You call me 7 days a week. I've got brand new Alcoas, 22.5, 24.5, ship them out all over the United States and Canada. Canada guys absolutely love it. We get them up there to you guys without questions asked. It's a little bit more interesting shipping out through customs than that, but we got it covered.
You got just about everything, so where can they find you?
Big Wheel Dually Buy Sell Trade on Facebook, 40,000 plus active members.
That's great. Anything you can want for your truck, big or little, you can find it there. And you can find a whole lot more coming up on Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Here at NHOU, Joe, you've got two signature products. Tell me what the difference is and how they work under my car.
So basically, same product. This one, which is our back in black, has a carbon tint. We had a lot of customers come in and said, hey Joe, this looks great, but gee, I know I'm getting the protection, but if you could improve the appearance while protecting the surface, boom, back in black. So the two will give you the same protection, and one will substantially improve the appearance of that surface.
Now we know people are very crafty, and you've got to believe that people have come up with other ways to use this stuff. Where are some other applications for this that you've learned?
Well, so it is engineered for that application, but honestly, any metal surface would be pretty close to that application. And we've found people that are having very good results using this in HVAC systems, not only on the metal surfaces, but the wires, because it's non-conductive. It is actually going to stop corrosion on the wires, and it helps a little bit with mice as well. We find it on boat trailers. They'll do the rear end of the vehicle, especially, that's always going into the water. It is a great agricultural use on farm equipment. It helps hay equipment, different types of lawnmowers or brush hogs.
And you touched on it, mice have been a problem, and you developed a new product specifically to address that.
Yes, so that was from one of our great customers who came in and said, hey, listen, this is a big problem. One of the ways I solved it was with a menthol. I know that that is a deterrent, so what we did was we added menthol to our clear oil, and we also know that the oil is a deterrent, because in my shop, when we spray vehicles, these mice, if they're in there, they're gone. And everyone had mice in our complex except us, and it was because they did not want to step on this oil. Well, you combine that with the smell, and we've added one thing else additional, which makes it smell like a cat urine, which is predatory. It's a very effective way to keep rodents out.
Well, you can keep the mice away, you can keep the rust away, and you can find out how at NHOilUndercoating.com. Well, here she is, the Dauber Cruiser. You've seen her before on our show, and really, who doesn't have an SUV these days? It's kind of what everybody drives. But until the 1960s, nobody even knew the term SUV until the Ford Bronco came along. Back in 1966, it was the first of its kind, enabling folks to off-road on the weekends and go to work during the week. We had the good fortune of visiting the Bronco Super Celebration in Townsend, Tennessee, and we got to meet all kinds of really cool Bronco owners.
When the Bronco came into play, it was popular right off the bat in '66.
I think the design was basically like a 1962 Ford pickup, just shortened up. Basically, a very simple vehicle.
I don't know what it is about the Bronco. It's like the best of a car and a truck.
It really was ahead of its time because it's the wheelbase and maneuverability. You get it through the woods, go hunting with it, go camping with it, and that's really how the SUV craze started.
Broncos in stock form versus Jeep or International Scout had the proper suspension to start with. They had coil spring front end and they would walk in the washboard.
It runs a Ford 9-inch rear end, which NASCAR runs every Sunday afternoon on the track. It's the same rear ends under every one of these Broncos. The components, they're bulletproof.
And people that don't know Broncos still love the Bronco. It's just kind of a neat thing.
You can't pull in anywhere and somebody doesn't have a Bronco story for you.
I just think
They look awesome. It's small, but it's big, and it goes places, and it's powerful.
They're just a great method of creating wonderful memories for your life, and I think that's what Broncos really help you do.
This event is about the celebration of the Ford Bronco. I want them, first of all, to understand what a great vehicle they have. I mean, we're all obsessed and we're all enthusiasts of the Ford Bronco. So it can't sit in the garage. You got to get it out. You have to enjoy it. And there's no better place to enjoy it than the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. This event started 13 years ago. There was a big Ford event that asked us to be the special mark for the 40th anniversary of the Bronco. Wanted us to get 15 Broncos out there to be the special mark of the big Ford event. My wife Donna and I, when we opened the gate at 7 o'clock in the morning, we had 218 Broncos lined up. We had advertised it in the magazine, and we had people from everywhere lined up wanting to be part of this Bronco Day. And from that, it's kind of just taken on a life of its own. You're going to have about 500 to 600 Broncos that will show up, and then you're probably going to get 3,000 to 5,000 people walking up to look at the Broncos. It encapsulates family, fun, and Ford, and put their good horses to work.
We sure hope you're enjoying the ride here on Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat. We'll be back with a whole lot more right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, is brought to you by Stage 8 Fasteners, home of the world's best locking header bolt. Locking kits now available for all turbo applications. Go to stage8.com. Side by Customs, custom fabrication for anything UTV. Tire Jack, the highest rated tire repair and flat prevention product on the market. And by Tribotex, make your engine last longer.
We've seen in the past few weeks how Tribotex can make your engine perform better, how it can make it last longer, and how it can even bring an old engine back to life. Pretty remarkable stuff, Pasha, but it's not just any old engine oil additive. How is it different from the other products that are out there?
It's a permanent coating that is get applied by nanoparticles layer by layer when they swim inside of the oil and attached to a surface only where friction takes place.
And you touched on it there. They swim inside the oil, but it doesn't actually change the oil, but some other guys are trying to do that.
Typically, oil additives designed to modify properties of the oil: viscosity, thermal stability. Nanoparticles use oil as a carrier, and we try to not interfere with the oil at all.
And when you drain your oil, what happens to the Tribotex?
Tribotex stays. Tribotex stays everywhere where the friction took place, and parts that got involved in friction actually gets heavier because of the Tribotex layer that compensates for the wear, and we call it reverse wear.
How often do I need to use Tribotex?
Typically it lasts 40,000 miles or more in places that not heavy loaded, but the piston cylinder groups takes about 40,000 miles, so we recommend applying it once you change oil a few times. It's a good thing to reapply it.
How do I know that Tribotex works and it's not just some snake oil?
That's a good question. We get it asked quite often. We have over a decade worth of research, from bench tests to lab tests to military vehicles application to performance, high performance vehicles, to even jet engines and gearboxes coupled to the jet engines. So the broad spectrum, and collectively vehicles that we applied Tribotex in went over several million miles over the 10 years that we are working in this field.
Hours and hours of testing in the laboratory and tons of real-world testing. Tribotex is the real deal. You can check them out at tribotex.com.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
All right, so you got a problem beside the road, probably a flat tire, and you are dressed up and ready to go out for the evening. Never fear, you have the Magic Creeper, and you were smart enough to buy the Magic Creeper with the emergency kit. Now, it comes in this nice bag that fits in the back of your car. You can slide it under the seat if you want to. Stores super easily. Now, the emergency kit has everything you're going to need if you have a roadside emergency. It has a screwdriver, a raincoat if it's raining outside, that will protect your nice clothes, adjustable wrench, some zip ties if you need to fasten something up. even a bungee cord if you need to do the same, and also a flashlight. If this all happens at night, you're going to be good to go. And of course, jumper cables if you are stopped beside the road. Now, of course, you use the Magic Creeper as a knee pad if you need to change the tire. So on any terrain, whether it's gravel, a wet road, or just the rough surface, you can save your knees by using the Magic Creeper when you're jacking up the car and changing that tire. If you need to get under the car, that's where the Magic Creeper really shines. You just roll it out under the car and you can slide underneath. You get more ground clearance than you would with a traditional creeper. And of course, you couldn't bring a traditional creeper with you anyway. It wouldn't fit in your trunk, and it certainly wouldn't roll on the pavement, wouldn't roll on gravel, and wouldn't roll on grass. But the Magic Creeper goes over anything. It is super durable, and you won't even feel any bumps as you go over those rough terrains. Even glass underneath won't affect you on the Magic Creeper. And once you're done with it, it is super easy to clean. Just wipe it off, maybe spray it with a little bit of cleaner, and you are good to go. And you are ready to get back to your evening out. You're gonna protect your clothes. You're gonna be able to fix your car on the go. It's the Magic Creeper. You can check it out at magiccreeper.com, except no substitutes.
Now, brake fluid, like any other fluid on the vehicle, wears out over time. As a matter of fact, brake fluid is hygroscopic. And what does that mean? Well, it absorbs water. When it absorbs water, that actually lowers the boiling point. And once it gets down so low, it starts to boil. Air is compressible, liquid's not. You get a case called brake fade. That pedal starts to go to the floor. You have to bleed the brakes. Not a good thing. So what do we want to do? Check the brake fluid. Two simple methods. You can go down and get these test strips right here, stick it in there, read the container, tells you the content of what's going on in there, whether it's good or bad. Really simple to use. I like to use the little electronic gauge, very inexpensive. You can go down and get one of these, pretty cool. Just take it over here, push the button, stick it in the brake fluid, and there you go. Wow, green is good, red is bad. Super easy to read. This one here, it's been in there since the get-go. Time to flush this one out. Now there's different types of brake fluids as well. There's .3, .4, .5 and .5.1. Now what you need to know about that one is .5 is silicone based, 3, 4, and 5.1 are glycol based. So what do? Check your service manual. Make sure you put the right brake fluid in the vehicle and also flush it out, bleed it. Man, your brakes will be like new.
Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. We're really glad you came along for the ride. We'll be back once again next week, but in the meantime, if you're jonesing for some Motorhead Garage, be sure to check out our Facebook page. And if you have anything you want to see featured on our show, email Jeff at masterstv.com. From our entire crew here at Motorhead Garage, we will see you next week.